Welcome to Managing Asia. I'm Emily Chan, standing in for Christine Tan. As the world economy falls into a deeper downturn, business leaders we spoke to over the last few weeks are bracing for a stormy 2009. Today, we bring you some of their strategies. But first, how are small and medium-sized companies coping in a tough climate? We find out from a small property player how it's shifting gears here in Hong Kong. Andrew Peng runs Asia for You, a property design and branding company co-founded by famous designer Philippe Starck. He's on a mission to expand You's presence in the region. But as the global economic crisis takes its toll on the property sector, Peng's job has become more difficult. With prices coming off their peaks, developers are going back to the drawing board and rethinking their strategies.
They're just literally saying, we're going to take our time, we're not rushing up. So because of that, in terms of the way they're looking at what we're providing in terms of services, obviously, taking also a back step, in the way that they're going to take time to consider, when they're going to bring us in. We're going to redraft the plan now. And so we're going to repropose ourselves in terms of a lot of repositionings, in terms of designs and things like that. So that's what you see, a slight delay in a lot of things.
It's a brand with a little fan on it.
Peng has been down this path before. Having spent the past 17 years in the industry, the last 5 as an executive director at Knight Frank, Hong Kong. He joined You to sell the concept of branded properties. Known for its funky and eclectic designs, the Prada of the property industry, as You is known, has designed more than 25,000 apartments around the world, worth more than $10 billion. This includes the Dwell 95 residence in Manhattan, New York, the Cape Yamu Resort in Phuket, and the Jiao Hotel in Hong Kong. Peng has been receiving more interest from hotel developers, but with the economic crisis, he says the company is also turning more cautious.
Overall, obviously the company, is like playing very prudent. So, just watch carefully. Cash is king at the moment, in most companies considering. So we'll make our decision when the right project comes up. But yeah, of course, again, we need to slow down the process.
Still, Peng believes there are many opportunities in a down market.
Developers are actually more reciprocal to that idea now because they want to stand out among the rest of not just another development within the city centre. So that is where our opportunity is. When this kind of market, we actually can go in and we can actually provide them with a brand, we can actually add value to their projects and actually reduce the risk factor, really.
Now, analysts say that the high-end market will be worst off or more harder hit. So will you be shifting away from the high-end market and focusing more on mainstream?
A lot of people interpret us, you or Philippe or Jade or Marcel, is in the kind of high-end factors. But our company, the theory is the fact that we like to actually help every single levels of the property market. And Philippe, when he formed the company, he said it's democratizing designs to make designs available to the bigger market. It's like a different level. Obviously, you have different requirements, different furnishings, different qualities of fixtures and fittings. So we can actually adjust to that. Asia is fantastic because you can manufacture things like anywhere around Asia and in a relatively good value.
Now we're seeing real estate prices coming down. How are you looking for opportunities, and what kind do you see out there?
We can actually raise the profile. If the project, say for instance, is big enough, it's like, you might get Philippe Starck to come and cut the ribbons, and you generate a huge amount of PR. But certainly, as we discussed before, there are the market itself, it is slowing down. And so, apart from the fact that we have adjusted environment, perhaps in the way that we charge our clients and in the way that we operate has to be rethink. So now, what we're thinking along the side is like to work with the developers, so that part of the services that the way that we charge our clients is tied in with the rate of sales. So the fact is, if they don't sell, we don't get any money. So that we put our money where our mouth is, so that we believe that we can help you, so that in the way that we're going to charge you in majority of our fees, like if you don't get anything, we don't get anything either. I think we have to think of more imaginative way to position ourselves within the market.
And how do you manage risk?
Well, we just have to look at each of these kind of markets very carefully. So in the way that when we talk to our clients, and we actually have to ask them regarding to their current financial position for a start. And we ask them to provide evidence that in terms of project financings and whether this project is going to take off the ground. And again, if we are to tighten ourselves, in terms of the way that we get remunerated is to tighten with the speed of sales. We have to look into how the market is. Say, is the clients in terms of the gross development value, are they too aggressive? Is it achievable? And and then we have to look into each of these factors. And then again, from the U capital side, in terms of our investment funds, again we have to look at very carefully who we actually invest with. And most of the time we actually never invest in the first project we deal with the client. It's the second one. That's why we establish a working relationship. Once we know they're actually, in terms of the way they work, in terms of the financing, so we're more comfortable to do that.
You've been in the property business for about 17 years now, seen a number of property cycles. What kind of managerial skills does one need to guide you through a challenging time such as the one we're experiencing right now?
I've seen cycles go up, cycles gone down, and I think the most important thing is to put yourself out during this period of time, is to brand yourself and to announce to the market that we are here still in the difficult time. It's not when the market are difficult and you actually stay back. As a matter of fact, it's time now is to go out and attack, and to show that the clients that we're here, we're committed, and we're willing to work through this period with you. I think that is how we kind of steer the company within Asia and steer us through this difficult period.
And that was Andrew Peng, Managing Director at UAsia. But don't